welcome back to my channel. My name is Diamond. So happy that you are here, and today we will be reading A Course of Love chapter 1, but I wanted to dive into a message that I received from Spirit while doing my altar work this morning. So here is the butterfly that I colored in about a few years ago, but I had sitting on my altar, and this was the message that came through while I was looking at this photo. If you all remember, in the prelude, verse 40, Jesus spoke about the caterpillar and how the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. And although the butterfly is seen as, maybe in our mind, as lovelier or on the eyes, more beautiful to behold, it is still the same being as the caterpillar. The caterpillar did not cease to exist, but it simply transformed into what it always was. And so we may feel that we are the caterpillar, or you may feel that we are just this one thing and that we are limited. But here is the message that I received. The caterpillar is who we may feel that we are, but Jesus is guiding us to remember our truth, our power of choice, and reminding us that no matter how limited we may feel that we are actually vast, limitless, invulnerable, perfect, and holy. We are holy because of who we are and that which we come from. This reminder is for myself and for anyone who is watching that, it feels aligned with at this time. We are at the end of the year, and energetically, on a collective level, tying up loose ends, and Spirit may be asking some of us to let go. Spirit is initiating us into something that feels new and unknown, or may be even a shift you weren't expecting in relationships, family, on a large scale, and on a personal level. But know that rebirth and being in limbo or pivoting brings us closer to remembering who we are. And in our allowance of the change, we are accomplishing a task that our soul wants to continue to expand and create in infinite ways. Be courageous. Be courageous. You are not alone. And when you need help, ask. Faith and willingness is all that is asked. So that is the message that I received. And it definitely, when it came through, it was definitely a message that really was relevant to my life right now. And I'm happy to share it. And so now we can dive into chapter 1 of A Course of Love. Scoot a little closer so you all can see me. Okay, chapter 1, A Course of Love. Every living being has a heart. Let us define heart as the center of being, that place from which all feeling arises. All true feeling is love. All love praises God. All love is recognition of the glory of God and all God created. Love is the only pure response of the created for the Creator, the only response of the Creator to the created. Your recognition of what love is will return you to God and yourself. You learned in a course in miracles that all knowledge is generalizable. So is all feeling. All feeling results from love or lack of love. There are no other reasons for the feelings that you experience. All feelings are generated by the heart and have nothing to do with the body. The heart of the body is the altar at which all your offerings to God are made. All offerings are love or lack of love. Lack of love is nothing. Thus, all offerings made from a place other than love are nothing. All offerings made from a place of fear or guilt are nothing. So I feel like in this verse, Jesus is really explaining to us that when we are offering something, or when we have feelings that they're in unity, they're in love, or they're in a lack of love, which is fear or guilt, right? And so what's true is love. And so all offerings that are made of love are truth, and everything else isn't really true in reality. Love is the condition of your reality. In your human form, your heart must beat for the life of yourself to take place. This is the nature of your reality. Love is as essential to your being as the heart to the body. You would not exist without love. It is there even if you are unaware of it, as you are of the beating of your heart. A baby is no less alive because it does not realize its heart is beating. You are no less yourself even though you do not realize that without love you would not exist. God's only thought is love. It is a thought without limit, endlessly creating. Because of the extension of God's thought of love, you exist. I exist with you in the self-same thought. You do not understand this only because you do not understand the nature of your own thoughts. You have placed them inside your body, conceptualizing them in a form that makes no sense. Yet, when you apply your thought to learning, you learn. Let this encourage you. This is an ability we can use together to learn anew. You should be in a hurry only to hear the truth. And of course, all of the ways that you act when you want to hurry are backward to what you would achieve. Let your worries come and let your worries go. Remember always that they simply do not matter except in terms of time, and that you will save time by letting them go. Remember that your worries affect nothing. Right. Because our worries are just doubts of doubt of ourselves, right? Whenever we worry, whenever we're unsure, whenever we are confused, it's because we at some point doubted ourselves, doubted the truth of who we are. We told a story in our mind that isn't true. And so when those thoughts come and we see the effects, and we are in pain, or we are in suffering, or we are upset, we have to ask, where did I go wrong? Right? Or what untruth am I telling? What story have I fed myself that is not true in reality? And when we have that, when the awareness comes up of what the emotion is, what story we're playing in our mind, or what story are we playing out, we can then ask for help from Jesus, or ask help from the Holy Spirit. You think if your worries affect time, this is an effect, but time is an illusion. It too does not matter. Remind yourself of this as well. This is part of letting go of the old world to make way for the new. Realize these things do not matter and will not be carried with you to the new world, so you might as well let them go. Right. So even sometimes when we're like replaying or rehearsing in the mind about worries or about doubts, they don't matter really. In truth, because they affect nothing, right? And so when we are able to like, okay, this is what's coming up, give it, give it to Jesus, put it on the altar of God within our hearts, and because time is a tool that we've created, once we give over the worries that we're having, immediately it's turned over. Immediately we are able to begin to see change. It is as if you have carried your heavy luggage with you everywhere, just in case you might need something. Now you are beginning to trust that you will not need these things you have carried. Right. So it's like the heavy luggage. I feel like what I'm seeing is like all the worries, all the doubts that we've just like, if you imagine like a backpack, or like Jesus is mentioning a luggage, right? Like it's almost as if we're filling our worries up and our problems, our perceived problems up in that luggage, and we're like, okay, like I'm carrying it, right? Or like what we do is like sometimes you carry it throughout the day. It's like, okay, I have a grievance about this, I have a grievance about that, and so you carry the load, you carry it, and it builds and builds and builds. But that really need not be. We can give it over, and we don't have to carry the luggage everywhere we go, thinking that we'll need something, thinking that, oh, if I hold this grievance, I can use it again against this person, right? Now you're beginning to trust that you will not need these things you have carried. No, heavy coat. For you trust the sun will shine, the warmth will surround you. You are an immigrant coming to a new world with all your possessions in hand. But as you glimpse what was once a distant shore and now is near, you realize none of what you formerly possessed and called your treasures are needed. How silly you feel to have carted them from one place to the next. What a waste of time and energy to have been slowed down by such a heavy burden. Right. What a relief to realize that you need carry it no more. How you wish you would have believed they were not needed when you began. How happy you are to leave them behind. Right? It's like a sigh of relief, right? That we don't have to carry all of these grievances, carry all of this weight, carry all of this pressure that we place onto ourselves, and place onto the world, and just let it go. You do not realize as yet how heavy was your burden. Had you literally carried a heavy and useless trunk from one world to another when you had been told by someone wiser that it would not be needed, you would, upon realize the truth, ask yourself what else you have been told and disregarded. You might try one more thing and then another that you previously would not have tried when you were so convinced that you were right and the other wrong. And as each new step is tried and found to work, your confidence in the wisdom of this teacher would continue to grow. You might consider that you would still learn from your mistakes and find the learning in the end to be the same. And this you surely might do from time to time. But eventually you would realize that it would be quicker and easier to learn without mistakes. And eventually you would realize also that the wisdom of your teacher had become your own. So it's almost like what I'm seeing is like a shift, right? A shift from sorry, there's a squirrel up there. But a shift from the old teacher, right? That was the ego, our separated self. And when we start seeing progress, when we start seeing the wisdom of this other teacher, right? Our trust begins to grow. We begin to learn easier from our mistakes and learn quicker. So it's almost like distinguishing between what teacher you are choosing. Are you choosing you as are you choosing the ego? Are you choosing your own self as the teacher? Or are you choosing the Holy Spirit? Are you choosing Jesus? Are you choosing your vaster self, your soul, to infuse the wisdom? So yeah, the urge to test another's wisdom is the urge to find your own way and have it be a better way. It is the urge not to trust the teacher in all things, but only in certain things. It is a desire to find your way on your own so that you can take pride in your accomplishment. As if by following another's map, the sense of accomplishment in your arrival would be diminished. This wanting to do things on your own is a trick of the ego. Your pride, a gift the ego demands. These are the magic thoughts that oppose miracle-mindedness. These are the thoughts that say, on my own, I am everything, rather than, on my own, I am nothing. Right? This is kind of what I was just like touching on before this verse. A true leader follows until she is ready to lead. She does not strike out on her own at the beginning, before she knows the way. There is no shame in learning, no shame in following the course another has put forth. Each true course changes in application. 50 students may sit in a classroom being taught the same lesson, and not one will learn in the exact same way as another. This is true with the teaching and learning of information, and true with the teaching and learning of the truth as well. The only way that you can fail to learn the truth is to demand to learn it on your own, for on your own it is impossible to learn. Right? And so I think that's also what the point of the course and the point of A Course in Miracles was too, is like, we aren't meant to learn on our own. We aren't here alone, right? And so for us to remember ourselves and remember who we are in truth, and who our brothers and sisters are, and their value and their identity and our identity as, as one. Yeah, we can't do that on our own, right? Because the ego will continue to come in. And also it's like, we've already tried learning on our own, right? And yeah, we try learning on our own, and what we've created and perceived, is pain and suffering. And so this course and what Jesus is mentioning in this specific verse is that you can resign as your own teacher. You can come to you can come to the Holy Spirit. You can come to Jesus and allow. Yeah, I'm seeing Jesus as like an older brother. Like, we are one and we're all the same, and like there's no levels, there's no like he's greater and this and that. It's like, no, we're all the same. But it's like he's further up the ladder, and it's almost like he's reaching out his hand to to show us the way, to pull us up. I hope that makes sense. So, in verse 10, it literally says, resign as your own teacher. So, yeah, that's so funny. I did not see that before. Resign as your own teacher. Accept me as your teacher and accept that I will teach you the truth. Right? It's like we can't know the truth on our own. So let's have willingness and faith and trust that, like, Jesus is here, right? And he's saying that, like, I can help you. I can help you. Like, have some faith, have some willingness. You cannot learn what I would teach you without me, right? You have tried in countless ways and can still try again. But you will not succeed. Not because you are not smart enough, not because you will not try hard enough, but because it is impossible. It is impossible to learn anything on your own. Your determination to do so only blocks your learning. Right. That's exactly what I'm saying, that it blocks your learning. And it is only through union with me that you learn, because it is only in union with me that you are yourself. All your effort is based on a disbelief of the truth and your attempts to prove that this truth is not the truth. All that this effort brings you is frustration. All your seeming success from this effort brings you is pride to offer to your ego. The gift your ego demands is not worth the price you pay. The price of the gift is everything. Yep. Yes. Yep. So it's through union, right? Through relationship that we are able to remember who we are. Remember our brothers, our sisters, God. And it takes no efforting, right? Efforting is doing. And I think this course is going to just teach us that love is and that being is. And effort comes from striving to, striving comes from the ideal of hard work, and that hard work and doing is tied to our self-worth and tied to how worthy we are. And that's just not something that's not something that in truth is needed, right? Effort is not needed. Willingness and faith and devotion, yes, right? But efforting and doing, there's a difference between that and being, right? And that truth is truth, right? Like the proof, right? The proof of truth is like what we feel in our hearts, right? What is just like this direct knowing that, oh, like that's truth. Yeah. So let's continue. We are on chapter 1, verse 11. A teacher always has a role in the learning of the student. This does not diminish the student's achievement. You must realize it is your desire to make of yourself your own creator that has caused all your problems. Yeah. This is the authority problem. It is pervasive in the life of your physical form and in the life of your mind. It is only your heart that does not consider this an issue of concern. This is another reason we appeal to the heart. Yeah. And the authority problem also was mentioned in A Course in Miracles. Like, I think there might even be like a chapter on it, if I'm remembering. But yeah, so yeah. So let's continue on. Or let's see where we're at time-wise. Yeah. I can actually stop. I'll stop here and then I'll just make another video now to finish up this chapter. So yeah, thank you all for watching.